Hey, what'd you say? Here's my updated, translated, artificially generated.
Macrorify tutorial, hot out the oven. Let's begin. Navigate to the screen showing Abstract and Detail. Select Abstract to get started. This is the menu where you spend most of your time. The purple block is an action. You can add an action by clicking the plus icon and choose the action from the pop-up menu. The green block is a condition. You can add a condition by first clicking on an action, or clicking an existing condition, then select Add Condition. The small green block is a condition group, used to combine conditions. You can add a condition group, the same way you add a normal condition, but select through Add Condition, New Group, instead. This is the current job. Jobs are a way to split macros into smaller parts that are easier to manage. Jobs will be covered more later on. You can add some basic variables, numbers or strings, or Boolean variables from here. There is one main thing you need to understand. Understand this, and you can make any macro. The action runs when the condition is true. Let's add a quick image action. The action is click on an image when the image appears at the capture location. Let's test it. The image is here, so the condition is true and the click happens. If the image is not visible anymore, the condition is now false and the click stops. Now the condition is true again and the click starts. Action with no condition is considered as always true. For example, a single click with no condition will always click, because its condition is always true. Let's do an example macro. As with tradition, we will use another Eden. It's been a long time since I played this game, and I don't know if this is still the best way to farm experience. Basically, you repeat this one stage over and over again to scoop up a lot of experience. And that is pretty much a macro strong suit in a nutshell. Here's how it looks. Without wasting any more time, I'm going to add our first click. The image can be further adjusted by using the Edit Image command. You can test quickly by using the Test Action command. Conditions can also be tested separately. I'm going to add the rest of the clicks. This part will be sped up since I'm showing the same thing. After you've done anything, always go back and save. Now, let's start play mode. Run the macro. Now just sit back and enjoy the results. The attack buttons appear multiple times in a row, but that will not pose any problem. The macro will click on it as soon as the image of the attack button appears. Next, I want to introduce a very important feature. Suppose you want to do multiple actions in a row, whilst a condition is true. Say select skills. Before clicking the attack button, it's not needed in this macro, but let's use that as an example. You can create a custom action for that. A custom action is just multiple actions put together to create a new action. Exactly what we need. To create a custom action, click the plus icon and select Custom Action. enter the action name, and save. You will be greeted with a familiar menu. Now just add action to it. Normally, I will add 3 standard clicks as an example. Go back, and you will see your custom action has been added. Not only that, if you click the plus icon again, your custom action is also available in this menu, and you can reuse it anywhere. Now I just have to remove the old attack button and add the condition to the custom action. Every time the attack button appears, it will use our custom action instead. Let's try it. By this point, you should know how to make a simple repeat macro with some custom actions. Abstract mode is designed to be simple because it doesn't do many complex tasks compared to detail mode, but you can totally do it to a certain extent, if you wish. In this section, things will get a bit more complex, so get ready. To give the viewer a bit of context about what we're going to do, if you're not familiar with the game, take a look at the number on the right side. That's called light of point. The higher your point, the better the reward you get for certain dungeons. To increase this point, you normally would need a dupe of that character, or use a very limited item. So this boy is actually very hard to come by. But the game does offer an easy way to get this boy for one single character. This straw boy you see here. By leveling the straw boy to max level, which is 80, you can do a reincarnation. He loses all of his level, but his point is increased by 1. That means you can farm the stage to bring his level to max, reincarnate and repeat that process 200 times to have max light point. Now we will implement the reincarnation. First, let's detect when our boy reaches level 80. I'm going to use this screen since the level number is clearly visible. A single image detect should do it. Once that is detected, you need to click back instead of fight, then close the menu. There are 2 clicks, so a simple custom action should be enough. But I'm not going to do that, since I want to introduce another feature. We do not use custom action. So once we detect level 80, we will just press back and come to this screen. Now we just need to press the close button on top. But here's the problem on this screen. We also have a condition for the stage 4 button, which means we need to differentiate between the 2. We click stage 4 when we don't detect level 80. We click close instead of stage 4 when level 80 is detected. The detection happens in the previous screen. So how do we remember the detection result? Across various parts of the macro? Well, in this case, at this point we need a variable to remember things. In this case, we just need a simple Boolean variable to remember that level 80 has been detected. Now to add a variable, click the X icon over here. Click plus, select Boolean, and enter the variable name. Then save the variable default value, should be false. We can set it to true when level 80 is detected. Click plus, add set variable action. Select the variable and choose true. The condition should be image appear. Now add a click for the back button. The back button should only be clicked when our variable is true. So let's add an additional condition to our click. The fight button should only be clicked when level 80 is not detected, so it also needs an extra condition. One important thing is that we must put the level 80 detection above the fight button detection, so it gets prioritized. Otherwise, the fight button will get clicked first, before our variable flip. select our detection, cut. Then paste above. Now you just do the same for the pulse button. I fast forward this part. The macro should now close instead of fight. Let's try it. We need to go to XAMI next. This part is completely separate from the past, though. Let's introduce the most important feature of all. Let's add a new job. Click here to enter the job menu. Add name and save. Let's go back to the main job and add a run job action. Select our new job. The condition will be image appear, and we will reuse this exclamation mark. Make sure to add our variable condition as well. The same for other exclamation detection. Now we switch to our XAMI job. Everything in this new job is completely separate, and you don't need to worry about anything else. That makes things way easier. And looking at an empty job like this, put your mind at ease. Let's continue. I'll quickly show you how those may look. Just a bunch of clicks. Should be easy. I start adding up the clicks. This will also be fast forward. We have all the clicks. Let's give it a go and see if there's any problem. You might think, wow. Well, let's continue then. But there's actually a lot of traps in this. The only reason it works is because there's enough click delay for the action to work, step by step, for example. The map button click is delayed for 1 second. And that's enough time for the spare button to detect. Next, if somehow there's lag and everything is out of order, the action might be triggered in an unexpected place due to their position. For example, this spare button suddenly appears in 2 screens. The condition is true for the 2 screens, but we only want it to click the screen on the right, meaning a single image of a condition is not enough to differentiate between the two. In this case, we should add more conditions to an action to enforce when an action should happen. So let's re-examine every action. First, the map icon. It appears in 2 places, at the start and at the end. Let's add a condition to make it click only on the first screen. I'm going to reuse the exclamation button. Next, the expand button. You can use any spot that is different between the 2 screens. I still pick a random unique spot on the map. This screen is unique, so it's good. Again, I've used a random spot on the map. This part is a bit special. If the bottom XAMI place has a small delay, then it might get into a self loop, where XAMI on the right can appear, because you spam the bottom XAMI. A nice delay here should be enough. Yeah, a button should be good. The other images are grayed out, so if you're worried, you can increase the similarity score for the detector. All right, let's move on. The next step is to go to the house in the north. Let's create a job for that. That can also be run into XAMI. For the condition, you can use any image on the last screen. To get to the house, we need a series of swipes. That's the job for custom action. Let's add one. I'll add the first, the rest will be fast forward. Make sure to edit the swipe style and set it to move. Joystick hold should be around 2000. Let's test this. For the condition, we just need to run this swipe once. So there's actually a condition for that. Make sure to change the scope to job, so it's once every time the job starts, not once in a whole macro. Next is the click for entering the house. The position of the icons vary, depending on the swipe, so we should set a custom region for the detection. The next job is reincarnation. Let's add that. The condition can be anything, as usual. Before continuing, I want to talk about the last important thing, and that is error recovery. This job has a very long swipe sequence, and that makes it easy to break in the middle. Once it breaks, the whole job will stop. It's good practice to address that early. So, how do we know that there's swipe breaks in the middle? That's easy. We use the last screen as the condition. If the last screen does not appear, then we can safely assume that something is wrong along the way. Let's create a job for recovery. Let's run the job. For the condition, we use this action count. Select action number 3. Set it to false. This means our recovery job will run when the last screen fails to appear 10 times in a row. What's left is to implement this recovery job. All you need to do is re-enter Zami to reset the position and run the Tools House job again from the start. The steps should be the same as before. So fast forward, here we go. Make sure the map clip has the condition that the marker does not appear. Otherwise, the run job and map will have duplicate conditions. The job should be set to restart. This is important to restart the once condition. Let's try this out. I will break it on purpose. Wait for the recovery job. The rest of the macro is actually the same, so I'll let you examine it. After the reincarnation job, we should go back to the future and complete the loop. It's the same map navigation as Zami. Now I'll show you the last part. Here, we just need to run the main job again to complete the loop. The condition should be seeing this exclamation icon. Again, make sure to set the job to restart to reset the level 80 variable. Hey! Congratulations! You have reached the end of the tutorial. I've shown you how to make a simple repeat macro. Use a custom action. Use simple variables. Use jobs to split bigger macros and handle error recovery. Obviously, that's not everything, but should be enough to get you started. Make sure to comment and like the video. Check the documentation to learn more. Join the Discord if you need help. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
While source content is always preferred, in this case I was unable to use the original video effectively until adding the new vocals. I painstakingly translated every word to ensure as accurate a script as I possibly could. It was challenging but worth it because I wasn't going to be able to follow the original.
No shot.
Massive thanks to the developer, enabling so many to create effective solutions that are otherwise impossible thanks to Macrorify.